If you caught my last video on the $0 to $1 million blueprint, you'll know that I'm passionate about helping coaches and agencies to scale through systems and processes rather than through constant hustle and reinvention. Today, we're diving deeper into what I consider the most overlooked aspect of scaling, and that's operational excellence. After 13 years in revenue leadership at companies like Twilio and AWS, and now leading revenue at Closers.io, I've seen firsthand how operations can make or break a business's ability to scale. Here's the truth most gurus won't tell you. The difference between coaches who hit $1 million and those who stay stuck at 10 to 20K per month isn't in their coaching ability, their content, or even their sales skills. It's their operational infrastructure. Simply put, systems beat hustle every single time. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the 8 essential operational systems that you'll need to scale from 0 to $1 million without the constant cycle of hitting ceilings, fixing problems, then hitting new ceilings again and again. These are the exact systems that we've implemented at Closers.io, the same ones I learned at companies like Amazon and Twilio, and the frameworks I've seen work for countless coaching businesses and agencies on their journey towards 7 figures. In this video, I'll show you exactly how to build these operational systems from day one so that you can scale smoothly without constantly hitting roadblocks along the way. With all of that said, let's dive in. The first operational principle is fundamentally about mindset, but it impacts every operational decision that you'll make. There's a profound difference between building a coaching business from 0 that hopes to eventually reach $1 million versus building a $1 million business that currently happens to be at $0 in revenue. Now, let me explain why this distinction matters so much. When you start with the end in mind, operating as if you're already running a $1 million business, you make fundamentally different decisions about your fulfillment process, your team structure, your client onboarding, your systems and tools, and your pricing and packaging. Most coaches and agencies fall into what I call the constraint reset cycle. They start small, grow until they hit a ceiling, frantically fix that problem, grow a little bit more, hit another ceiling, and then repeat this exhausting process over and over again. This is because they're building a house without a proper blueprint. They're adding rooms without considering the foundation. When I was at Amazon working on a product line called Amazon Connect, one principle that was drilled into us was working backwards. We'd start with the customer experience we wanted to deliver at scale, then build backwards from there. This same principle applies to your coaching business, and here's how it can apply to you in practice. From day one, document your processes as if you're going to hand them off to a team member tomorrow. Set up systems that can handle 100 clients even when you only have 10. Create a team structure plan for $1 million, then decide which roles that you're going to fill first, and price your offers based on where you want to be, not based on where you are today. When I built our outbound division at Closers.io, we didn't start with scrappy processes that we'd fix later. We started with enterprise-grade systems that could scale with us, even though we were starting from 0. Building with the end in mind means that you'll grow more smoothly, with fewer pain points and rebuilds along the way. The second critical system is having detailed standard operating procedures for every single micro task within the business. This might sound excessive, especially when you're just starting out, but I can't overstate how important this foundation is for sustainable scaling. Every action in your business, from how you onboard a new client to how you record a piece of content to how you process a refund request, should have a documented step-by-step procedure. When creating these SOPs, think about learning styles. Some people learn by watching, others by reading, and others by doing. The best SOPs incorporate all three: video walkthroughs for visual learners, written instructions and screenshots for those who prefer to read, and practical checklists for those who learn by doing. Why is this documentation so critical? Let me share 3 powerful benefits that we've seen at Closers.io. First, it dramatically reduces the time to productivity for new team members. When someone joins your team and every process they need to learn is clearly documented, they can get up to speed in days rather than weeks or months. This means faster scaling and less strain on existing team members. Second, it creates true resilience within the business. If someone gets sick, goes on vacation, or decides to leave the company, you're not left scrambling. Anyone can step in and perform that function by following the same SOP. This eliminates the dangerous single points of failure that exist in most coaching businesses. Third, it enables continuous improvement. When a process is documented, you can measure it, test changes, and optimize it over time. Without documentation, you're essentially reinventing the wheel every single time with inconsistent results. At Amazon, we had detailed documentation for literally everything. No process was too small to document. This approach allowed the business to scale to one of the largest companies in the world while still maintaining consistency in their quality. When creating your own SOPs, follow these best practices. Be extremely detailed. Don't assume any prior knowledge. Use both text and visuals whilst recording video walkthroughs to ensure that you have comprehensive breakdowns of the process step by step. You then want to make sure that these are stored in a centralized and searchable system. What I've seen is that the founders who invest the most time in their documentation up front will scale the fastest and with the least friction. This isn't the exciting part of building a business, but it's absolutely essential for hitting $1 million efficiently. The third operational system builds on your SOPs, but focuses specifically on how you bring your new team members into your business. As you scale towards $1 million, you'll inevitably need to hire, whether that's virtual assistants, sales representatives, closers, fulfillment specialists, or operations people. Having a well-defined onboarding process for every role is critical for ensuring that you get new team members to be productive quickly, whilst ensuring that they have a positive experience from day one. Think about your onboarding process as telling a story, the story of how a new team member becomes successful in your company. This story needs a clear beginning, middle, and end, with milestones along the way. It all starts with what I call a first week document, a detailed day-by-day breakdown of exactly what a new team member will experience. Monday might be a company overview and tool setup, Tuesday could be deep diving into their specific role, Wednesday might involve shadowing successful team members, and each day builds on the previous one. But great onboarding extends beyond the first week. You need clear 30, 60, and 90-day milestones so both you and the new hire know if you're on track. You need regular check-ins to address questions and provide feedback, and you need a system for gradually increasing responsibility as they demonstrate their own capability. The reason this is so important is that someone's experience in their first week can dramatically impact how they feel about your company long term. Make it disorganized and chaotic, and they'll question your professionalism. Make sure it's structured and supportive, and so they'll be motivated to excel. When I was at Twilio, we had an incredibly thorough onboarding process that lasted several weeks. This investment upfront meant new hires could contribute meaningfully much faster. For your coaching business or agency, create role-specific onboarding playbooks. Even if you're not hiring immediately, document what the perfect onboarding process would look like for each position in your future team. This preparation will pay dividends when you need to scale quickly to meet growing demand. The fourth operational system is establishing a clear mission and a defined set of principles and values. This might sound fluffy compared to the other systems, but I assure you, it's absolutely critical for scaling efficiently. Think about it this way. As your business grows, you can't be involved in every single decision. You need a framework that guides your team to make decisions aligned with your vision, even when you're not in the room. Your mission should be bold and inspiring, something that can't be achieved overnight, but gets people excited to come to work. It answers the why behind your business. At Amazon, the company mission was to be the Earth's most customer-centric company. Your values and principles then define how your team will work together to achieve that mission. These are the standards that everyone in the organization is expected to uphold. And Amazon is famous for their leadership principles, which guide every single decision within the company. These principles created consistency across a massive organization and enabled faster scaling. When creating your own mission, principles, and values, make sure that your mission is ambitious yet clear. Limit your values to 5 to 7 core concepts that truly matter. Define each value with specific behaviors, not just abstract concepts. Refer to these values in hiring, in performance reviews, and daily decisions, and recognize and reward team members who exemplify these values. This framework becomes increasingly important as you scale beyond your personal capacity. It ensures that everyone is rowing in the same direction, making decisions that align with your vision. The fifth critical system is establishing comprehensive data tracking from day one. As the saying goes, what you don't measure, you can't manage. And this is especially true when scaling a coaching business or agency. From the very beginning, you need to track every meaningful data point in your business, from marketing metrics to sales performance to client results to financial indicators. This data-driven approach fundamentally changes how you run your business. Instead of guessing where problems might arise, your data tells you exactly where the constraints are forming before they become critical. Rather than making decisions based on gut feeling, you can make them based on concrete evidence and historical patterns. When I was at Amazon, data was the foundation of everything we did. Every meeting started with reviewing metrics, and every decision had to be backed by data. This wasn't bureaucracy, it was how we managed a complex business at scale. For your coaching business, think about the key areas you need visibility into. How much is it costing you to acquire a lead? What's your sales team's close rate? How long are clients staying with you? How efficient is your fulfillment process? And what does your cash flow look like for the next 90 days? When you have real-time data on these very areas, you can spot trends before they become problems or opportunities before your competitors see them. You can forecast when you'll need to hire, when you should increase your marketing spend, or when you might need to improve your fulfillment process. This is where a platform like Go High Level can be transformative for your business. As an all-in-one CRM and marketing platform, it allows you to centralize your data and track every aspect of your client journey in one place. If you want to try Go High Level for yourself, there's a link that I've left in the description box below where you can access a free trial. It's a platform that I personally recommend for coaches and agencies that are looking to scale efficiently. Remember, your ability to scale is directly tied to your ability to identify and to solve constraints quickly. Comprehensive data tracking makes this possible. This sixth operational system is all about adopting an AI-first mindset for your business. Artificial intelligence has completely transformed what's possible for small teams looking to compete with much larger organizations. The efficiency gains cannot be understated. When you incorporate AI into your operations, you're essentially adding a tireless team member who can work 24/7 without any burnout. Think about how much time you currently spend creating documentation, analyzing data, or handling repetitive tasks. Now imagine if these hours were freed up for high-level strategy and client relationships. At Closers.ai, we're continuing to embed more and more AI protocols into our operations, and it's especially a big focus for myself and my team. When we need to create SOPs, AI helps us to draft the initial documentation that we can then refine further. When we're analyzing customer feedback, AI helps us to surface key themes and sentiment. This isn't about replacing human creativity or connection, it's about amplifying what humans do best. Your coaches should be coaching, not spending hours on administrative tasks that AI can handle. Let me share a practical example. One of the most time-consuming aspects of scaling a coaching business is creating all of the documentation needed for your team and clients. Instead of starting from scratch, you can use AI to create the first draft of your SOPs, client onboarding materials, and training resources. You can then review and refine them, cutting the time investment by 60 to 70%. The key is to approach every process with the question, how can AI help to make this better, faster, or more scalable? Whether it's using AI-powered chatbots for initial client inquiries or AI analytics to spot trends in your business data, the efficiency gains are substantial. Adopting an AI-first approach today will position you years ahead of competitors who are still doing everything manually. The next operational system is turning your entire business into a well-oiled conveyor belt with a clearly defined flow from first customer touchpoint all the way through to fulfillment and post-sale follow-up. Think about a well-run restaurant. When a customer enters, there's a defined process for greeting them, serving them, taking the order, preparing the food, and then serving it, also while then checking on satisfaction and handling payment. There's no confusion about what happens at each stage or who's responsible. Your coaching business or agency should operate with the same level of clarity and structure. Think about what happens when a potential client first encounters your business. Do they immediately understand what happens next? Does your team know exactly how to move them through each stage of the journey? Or is there confusion, delay, or inconsistency? The conveyor belt approach means mapping every stage of the customer journey from that initial contact all the way through to becoming a delighted long-term client. It's about creating a seamless flow where each stage naturally leads on to the next. When a prospect enters your world, they should be guided through a nurturing sequence that builds trust. When they express interest, your sales process should kick in smoothly. After they become a client, onboarding should begin automatically. As they progress, your fulfillment system should deliver a consistent result. And when they're ready, opportunities for deeper engagements are presented at just the right time. This conveyor belt approach eliminates the start-stop nature that plagues most coaching businesses. Instead of reinventing the process for each client, you have a clear path that every single client follows. The magic of this system is that clients feel a sense of certainty and professionalism at every single stage. Your team members understand what needs to happen next, and nothing falls through the cracks because the process is clearly defined. And most importantly, you can identify exactly where bottlenecks are occurring when something isn't flowing smoothly. At Closers.io, we've mapped out every single step of our client journey, from first ad impression all the way through to becoming a case study after achieving results. This clarity allows us to scale smoothly whilst maintaining quality. To implement this in your business, map out your ideal client journey end to end. Document each stage and transition point, create SOPs for each stage, establish ownership for each stage of the journey, then implement tracking to monitor clients as they move through the conveyor belt, and then regularly review and optimize the flow based on data and feedback. When your business operates as a seamless conveyor belt, scaling becomes exponentially easier. New team members can quickly understand how they fit into the bigger picture, and clients receive a consistent experience regardless of your personal involvement. The final operational system for scaling to $1 million is establishing strict financial rigor and cash flow management. Too many coaches and agencies operate with a hope for the best type of approach to their finances, only checking their bank account occasionally and making decisions based on what's available at that moment. This reactive approach to finances will absolutely limit your ability to scale. Instead, you need intentional focus on your financial health, including daily monitoring of key financial metrics, regular cash flow projections at 30, 60, and 90 days out. You want to ensure that you have a clear understanding of unit economics, for example, the cost to acquire a client and their lifetime value. Then you want to ensure you have strategic budgeting for growth initiatives, fast forward looking hiring plans based on projected revenue, not just current revenue. Ideally, you should have someone specifically responsible for financial monitoring. This might be you initially, but as you grow, consider a dedicated finance person or a fractional CFO. This financial rigor allows you to make proactive decisions rather than reactive ones. You can hire ahead of growth rather than playing catch-up. You can invest in marketing when others are pulling back, and you can weather unexpected challenges without existential threats to your business. At Closers.io and in my previous roles at larger organizations, financial discipline was a non-negotiable. The most successful business leaders I've worked with have an almost obsessive relationship with their financial metrics. So there you have it, the 8 operational systems that will set your coaching business or agency on the right path from $0 to $1 million in revenue. Just to recap, you need to start with building with the end in mind, creating comprehensive SOPs for every process, developing a structured onboarding system for all roles, establishing a clear mission, principles and values, implementing comprehensive data tracking, adopting an AI-first operational approach, designing a business conveyor belt for the customer journey, and maintaining rigorous financial management. These systems are absolutely essential for sustainable scaling. The coaches and agencies who implement these systems from day one will simply scale faster, they'll have less stress, and they'll have more profitability over the long term. If there's one thing I learned from my time at Amazon, Twilio, and now at Closers.io, it's that operational excellence is the true competitive advantage in any industry. You can have the best marketing and the most compelling offer and world-class sales skills, but without these operational systems, you'll hit ceiling after ceiling on your way to $1 million. Think about these 8 systems as the foundation of your business house. Without them, you're building on sand, but with them, you're building on a solid rock that can support growth and scale for years to come. Start implementing these systems today, even if you're still at the beginning of your journey. Your future self will thank you when you go about scaling smoothly whilst others are drowning in operational chaos. If you found this video helpful, hit the subscribe button for more frameworks on scaling your coaching or agency business to 7 figures and beyond. I'm Alex Elaine, and I'll see you on the next one. And remember that if you do want to ensure that you can scale with tracking efficient data, check out the link in the description below for a free trial to Go High Level that can transform the way that you interpret your data to set you on the right path for scale.